Okay, picture this. It's the moment of truth. The code is frozen, all the lights on the deployment pipeline are green, and you've got a dozen people waiting on you for that final go to launch the brand new application. The energy is electric, right? But man, the stakes are high.
So yeah, your app is built. The code is all there. But let's just cut through all that excitement for 1 second and ask a really critical question. Is it truly launch ready? I mean, are you actually prepared for what happens after you push that button?
All right, let's just set the scene here. For the next couple of minutes, I'm going to be your senior multi-cloud architect. You're the team, and this amazing new service, that's your baby. We're in the final pre-launch audit, and I'm just going to be blunt. We are not launching a thing until we are absolutely 100% sure we can see what's going on inside this thing once it goes live.
And that brings us to a concept that I believe is completely non-negotiable for any modern app. We're going to call it the Observability Gate. And you should really think of it as your last and probably most important safety net.
So what is this thing really? Well, to put it simply, the Observability Gate is just a mandatory checklist. It's a list of monitoring and alerting requirements that every single workload has to pass before it's allowed to go live. No exceptions. This isn't some nice-to-have item you get to later. This is the price of admission to get into production. In this slide, well, it paints the perfect picture, doesn't it? Before you have a gate, you are flying blind. Launches are just chaotic. When something, and something always does, breaks, it's this high-stress reactive scramble to figure out what's wrong. But after the gate, it's a totally different world. You've got full visibility. You get to shift from being reactive to proactive, and you launch with this incredible confidence because you know you can see, you can diagnose, and you can recover fast.
So, what does this gate actually check for? Let's get right to the heart of our little audit here, the 5 pillars. These are the 5 non-negotiables that I need to see from your team before we can even begin to talk about launching. And here they are. Number 1, basic tracing. 2, structured logs. 3, a meaningful dashboard. 4, critical alerts. And finally, number 5, a recovery runbook. It sounds simple, right? But trust me, the devil's always in the details. Let's see how you did.
All right, team, let's kick off the review. Let's see what you've got. We're going to go through this checklist one by one. First up, the absolute baseline. The bare minimum, show me that you've got application insights enabled with basic tracing for your service. I need to know you can follow a single request as it makes its way through your entire system. Okay, yep, I see it. Basic tracing is on. That's a good start. First box, checked. Good, but tracing by itself isn't enough. Now I want to see your structured logs. Are they actually flowing into log analytics where we can query them when the pressure is really on?
And there they are. Nicely structured, totally queryable. Excellent, you're 2 for 2. But don't get too comfortable. The easy part is over.
Right, now for the really crucial part. See, raw data is completely useless in a crisis. Show me the dashboard. I need that single pane of glass view that tells us just at a glance if we're healthy or not. I'm talking key metrics, error rates, latency. Where is it?
I'm hearing silence. Okay, so you have some of the default metrics, but there's no single meaningful health dashboard. This is our first red flag, and it is a big one. We can't launch if we can't instantly see the health of our own application.
All right, let's keep going. Show me the alerts, and I mean the critical alerts. The ones that are actually going to wake up the on-call engineer at 3 in the morning because the whole service is down or error rates have just shot through the roof.
And again, nothing. I see a few default alerts, sure, but nothing's tied to the critical business outcomes. And more importantly, nothing is wired up to wake an actual human being. This is another huge gap.
Okay, last item on the list. Let's just imagine an alert does fire. The engineer gets that page. What do they do next? Where is the runbook link? Embedded right there in the alert that's going to guide them through how to diagnose and recover.
And this is the last piece of the puzzle. There is no runbook. The knowledge on how to fix this service lives only in a few people's heads right now. You know, that's not a system, that's a liability.
So, after that review, it's time for the verdict. Let's be very, very clear about the no-go items. The verdict is clear. This is an absolute no-go for launch. We are not proceeding until you have these 3 things in place: a meaningful health dashboard, critical alerts that are wired to an actual on-call rotation, and a linked recovery runbook for every single one of those alerts. This is not negotiable. Okay, architect hat is off. Let's talk about how you can actually apply this. It is your turn now to build your own gate.
The key takeaway here is this. Don't wait for a 3 a.m. outage to finally prove that you need visibility. That is the most expensive and painful way to learn this lesson. Instead, build this gate. Make it a standard, automated, non-negotiable part of your deployment process.
So, I'm going to leave you with this one question. We've gone through a blueprint today, a starting point. Now it's on you to take it and adapt it. So tell me, what's in your observability gate?